came from the medical sales background, so I know all these nurses and doctors. Now they know I'm buying houses. Their aunt passes away.
They do way more than anything else, but people don't believe like these connections are invaluable. I'm like an open book. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. This is why I did it. This is what didn't work. Like, we're all figuring this out. Who are you? What the hell do you do? Where are you from? All that good stuff.
All right, Evan Darnell from Amarillo, Texas, and full-time real estate investor for about 5 years now. Came from a medical sales background, and so kind of learned how to get in there, talk to people, figure out what I need to do to get the business, get the referrals and stuff like that. My family's all been in real estate since I was young. So I got to see it. I got to see how wealth is generated. I got an uncle, he owns probably a couple thousand doors, but I was never really given any of that. They're busy. They didn't got time to teach me shit really. So it was a lot of bigger pockets, grinding, trying to figure it out. And still, like, this is the first group I've joined, yours, and already I can see it's gonna grow my business compared to all my friends here in Amarillo are competitors. So nobody really gets to tell me really what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
That's the problem too. It's like, dude, I'm like an open book. I'm like, this is what I'm doing. This is why I did it. This is what didn't work. Like, we're all figuring this out. Like, nobody, you said bigger pockets. Like, I was fortunate enough a few months back, I was over at Brandon Turner's house and he was going over all this crap. He was just telling us all his screw ups, and like, I'm like, everybody at every level is like, it's the same crap.
Oh, dude, I've screwed up so many times. I started a trucking company hauling frac sand out of the Permian Basin and lost like $60,000 the first year. I've done partnerships like you have. Oh, dude, terrible. I ended up doing all the work, and we're selling some of our last properties, thankfully. But so I've learned a lot of things not to do. And my superpower, I would say, is getting to know people, developing relationships like you. I get a lot of my referrals from realtors, from word of mouth, I came from the medical sales background, so I know all these nurses and doctors. And, now they know I'm buying houses, distressed properties, their aunt passes away, stuff like that. So I get a ton of business through that.
I love that you said that in the group, because I don't want to say people don't believe me, but I always see, like, I'm a big body language, and I always see like people just shrug. There's no, and I'm like, dude, the biggest deals come from referrals.
Yes.
I don't want to say I can't. I'm a big language guy too, but it's hard for me to only base my business. I could. Like, I literally could base my business only on referrals and do fantastic. They do way more than anything else. In my brain, the only reason I have callers is just because I'm like, if I don't get a referral, at least we got
some other stuff.
We got money churn. We got active income. But people don't believe like these connections are invaluable. Hell, you just sent me a big ass mobile home park.
That's exactly. Okay. But it all comes down to, it's from you. You reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to join my hotel group? And I'm like, who the hell is this dude? I know real estate. I don't want to join your little group. And then I started seeing your Facebook posts. I'm like, oh, this dude knows what he's talking about. Oh, this dude does some stuff that I don't do. He probably knows more about this than I do in this. And then what I do, I reach out to you. I'm like, all right, I think maybe I do want to join your group, And then first meeting, I'm like, hey, my buddy's got a mobile home park for sale. Yeah. So without you doing that, it would have never happened.
Yeah, it's cherry too. That park's cherry. So far, I'm still diving in.
Yeah. That's what it seemed like with the infrastructure being in the city. That seems to be pretty good.
Yeah, what I've learned in parks, because I've done a few at this point, is I'm a value add guy.
Yep, for sure.
Because I've got the energy to be a value add guy still. The older cats, they want the stable, whatever. This doesn't have a huge value add part to it, but it's a tin cap on city sewer, city water. Nothing needs to be done ever.
That's nice.
Unless, like your normal house, there's a plumbing issue or something. Yeah. But not the house itself, but from the city street to the house.
Yeah, you don't own it. You just own the slip. Yeah, that's the best. No maintenance.
Yeah.
See, stuff like that would be appealing. I just don't have quite the cash yet to be like, all right, I just want to dump, or the relationships. But it seems like a no-brainer for sure. And Amarillo is a strong. Texas is killing it. You know what I'm saying? Anything you buy in Texas, you're probably good.
And that's where I was leading to the relationships too, is I sent 2 text messages. After you sent me that deal and I've seen enough parks at this point, first I reached out to your buddy because I was like, hey, I'm quite a bit less, but this is why. And he's like, I agree. Like he was cool. You know, like, I agree. I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, but I got friends with big pockets, right? That want this. He's like, tell me more. I sent 2 messages because I got some friends worth a lot of money.
Yep.
I'm like, and here's my structure with them. I'm open. Is I'll take down a deal like that. I keep 50%. None of my money's in it. So like I sent
Can't
2
beat that,
text messages.
dude.
Yeah,
Can't beat that.
I screwed up because I pissed one of them off because they both wanted the deal. Because I was like, $5 million, a lot of money. So I'm gonna
Hell
send
yeah, dude.
2. That way I get a yes. And they both just sent me a message back. I'm in. And I was like,
Oh, dude, you
crap.
gotta pick now. That's tough.
Yeah, I had to pick, and luckily I needed a couple $1,000,000 for another deal I'm working. So I was like, hey, look, one of them I do business with all the time, and the other one I haven't. And I was like, look, we haven't done business, so let's do this smaller deal, and then we'll work our way. And they're like, yeah, cool, cool. So it worked out, but I was scrambling.
Where do you meet people like that with that big of with that much money and connect? Is it just being in the space for so long, or?
So I think I've always spent money to be in the, like, dude, I want to throw the weird ass guru, all this crap saying out, but I've always spent money that I didn't have. Like, like credit cards, right? Whatever. But to be in rooms, like stupid amounts of money. Because
Yeah.
in my mind, even with fitness, like one of my fitness, I want to call it hero, but like a role model maybe. Like I wanted to really, like there was an opportunity and I flew out that day because I want proximity is what I want. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do when I get there, but I want to see how these people think. I want to see like how they're wired. And anyways, this particular one was actually an Apex, right? This one. But different, I've joined so many different things just for proximity. It's not really like I know this, they know that. It's never that because you always hear,
Yeah.
dude, I've been doing but it's always about just like you never know when that next connection is gonna happen.
For sure, exactly. And that's what I'm so free to like spend money to get in proximity, like you said, make those connections. It's just, the very first, like when I was first learning, I remember posting in the real estate group, like, hey, I'll give somebody $100 to go to lunch with me or whatever. And I was probably, I don't know, like 26 or something like that at that point. Just paid somebody to have, and some guy did. He took me up, gave him $100. We drove to looked at some shit duplexes, and then that was one of the guys I partnered with, and we bought like 20 houses from then on, and then it just spitballed and stuff. But that's why I can already tell just the feedback and everything I'm getting from the group, and it's definitely what I needed to do to progress to the next level of my investing career. Was I need to make connections, get interlinked outside of Amarillo, do some stuff like that. That's where I'm trying to head.
That's another reason I like to bring in speakers too. They might not be saying crap, some people, because there's some experienced people in there like you too. They might not say crap that you already don't know, but you met them. It opened a door because you met them. I brought I brought a Logan in recently. I brought McLean in recently. There's people like, I'm gonna bring in Dan. He taught at investors at Apex Investor. He's, he's a big guy. Just people like that. I just want to like subject everybody to, because it costs money to get in those rooms to meet these people. People don't realize it. So they're like,
no, that's sick, dude. That's sick value. I love it. I'm pumped. I'm so glad I jumped in this thing for sure.
Hell yeah. So right now you're doing what? Fix and flips, rentals, single family?
Everything. Yeah, single family mostly. I own some storage complexes, like shops, like 30 by 50 shops with many stuff. I own those. I owned like a 30 unit in Lubbock, Texas. So own some smaller, probably 8plexes, stuff like that. But mostly my bread and butter is single family. Like I said, I've got over 50 doors now. And I do a whole lot. I did the flip stuff like we were talking about, putting 120,000 in these houses to make 40 grand. Took me freaking 4 months, and then I got lucky because nothing came up in the inspection. I love the hotel model. It's like my brain doesn't still compute a lot of the time. I'm like, wait, people are these like fully ready houses that just can go right on the market. But that's how, like that mobile home I was telling you about. The lady sold it to me at 70. She painted it every year, brand new central heat and air, brand new roof, new pump, new pressure tank. House didn't need anything. I'm turning around listing it for 100 grand over what I just paid. So they're there, and I'm tired of the little flipping stuff. So
Yeah.
what I do, I'm doing some wholesaling. So I have a VA, and then I'm doing some direct mail, mostly a lot of probate, some divorce, a little foreclosure. It just gets in the
Yeah.
nitty gritty. And then a lot of a lot of my deals come from realtors. Got two this month just from realtors alone, and then just my social media.
That's cool, man. What kind of, it sounds like you've done quite a bit of stuff. What do you think like your biggest strength? And if I'm putting you on the spot, my bad, but what's your biggest strength that I guess you have in real estate?
For sure. So definitely it's getting to know people and like finding out, just befriending them. How can I add value? But another one of my strengths I would say is delegating. Like I'm good at managing people. So I actually own some residential assisted livings. I
Oh,
had two. So that was how I got some equity to be able to buy some houses and this. So managing workers even from a young age, I was like mid 20s. And are you familiar with the residential assisted living stuff?
it's funny because when I went to Brandon Turner's house, he had told me to get into that, which that
Right.
I'm not a shiny whatever, but I had my eyes open for it because
Yeah.
I had seen the model and I was like,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense. Are you doing it?
Well, no, I sold both of them and I did really well selling it because I bought the house like pre-COVID
Yeah,
and then sold both of the houses plus the business. So I did really well on them. But the thing I'll say about residential is it's people's lives. You know what I'm saying? Versus if my painter doesn't show up, no big deal. I'll find one tomorrow. If the
yeah.
workers don't show up, I got to go in there and work it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of stress, never ends. It's just the return is good, but it's not passive. It's a business, just like, anything else.
So like with the residential, correct? And this is me being green to that space. Correct me if I'm wrong. And this is what struck me, what was cool, but like you find a house, it's like a I'm just talking, like that has enough room for 5 bedrooms, but
Hmm.
maybe not have 5 bedrooms. Maybe that's three,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you put two walls or
Yeah.
something. Is that
Yeah.
like the kind of the model that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
run?
it's just residential. It looks like a regular home. People in
Yeah.
the neighborhood don't even know it's a residential assisted living most of the time. And then staff it 24-hour care, nurse aides, and then my mom's a registered nurse or whatever. She would handle the nursing side of it, stuff like that. And it's 24-hour care. They do the cooking, cleaning, bathing, the nurse aides, pretty much do everything for
Yeah.
these people. And the demographic, it's a little higher end, wealthy people. They're paying 6,000 a month for the room and board. That's like the kind of starting pay. A little higher end client, a little bit needier, stuff like that. But yeah, each house I was probably making 100,000 a year off of net. So not bad, but it was just like I was just so ready to be done with it at the end. So learned that, made some money on that, and but like I said, oh, delegating, managing people,
Yeah.
really good with that. Finding good people, and like when I see somebody who's like a hustler, a go-getter, that's when I'll bring them in. I'm like, hey, come on, let's do this, work for me. And so I've had good consistency with that.
That's cool. Do you give them any kind of like personality test or anything like that, or you just see how they do?
No, I haven't. I would love to know more. I saw you doing some posts about that.
Yeah, I like 123test.com because it's free.
123test.com.
Yeah, it's free. And there's a lot of personality tests on there, but I direct them to the DISC assessment.
Uh-huh.
And I have them take the free DISC assessment. I don't have them buy it. And I have them send me a screenshot of the pie chart you get at the end. And it tells you like if you're dominant for D or influential, whatever. It tells you all this stuff. All I really care about is if they're a salesperson, everybody's gonna be different. But if they're sales, I want them to be 50% D or higher. If not, I don't want him. Like
Yeah,
I've got a
yeah.
closer, he's like a serial killer. He's
That's
80%.
that's where you want it. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
He
Yeah.
won't stop. And I'll be like, hey bro, chill. I have to teach him the
Mhm.
passive. But
A little
it's
pit
you.
bull type deal.
I brought in I was coached by Bobby Castro for a couple of years and I brought him in the group before you came in to do a talk, which is cool. You should check out that. But He gave me that tip a long time ago, and he sold his company for $1 billion. But he's like, yeah, he's like, salespeople find the 50. He told me 60% D or higher, but my pool was just too small. 50%
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, like the people, when you found good people like that, did they inevitably branch off and start their own stuff? Is that kind of what you can expect?
Americans, yes.
Yeah.
VAs, no.
Yeah.
Americans,
Yeah.
all of them do. You teach them,
Yeah.
they got the
Yeah.
trait, they got the go. Why the hell? I've got buddies that do it right. That when I say do it right, they're able to put the golden handcuffs. They're just doing that. But I wasn't when I was doing that. I wasn't able to pay them like a couple $100,000 each.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
wasn't,
Yeah.
doesn't compute. There's ways to do that and doing these higher price deals and stuff with more hair on it. But anyways,
Sure. Sure.
yeah, Americans most of the time are just gonna jet
Yeah, and I get that, and that's get it, but
unless you can put the golden handcuffs.
there you go.
So if you can do
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
you'll keep
And
them.
some people don't want the stress. They'll just like, hey, pay me good, and I'll stick with you. That shit, that's good too.
Where can people find you? I know you're posting on social media, you're buying houses, you're getting referrals.
Definitely. So yeah, so I have my Instagram and Facebook presence both. I would say my Instagram is pretty pathetic, honestly, but I have a really good Facebook following, and I'm posting in there. Try to at least once a week. That idea you gave me about starting your own Facebook group.
Yeah,
That seems like a pretty great idea. But
yeah,
and then I have my website, darnellhomestx.com, so you can
hell
see
yeah.
some of my stuff there.
Yeah, dude. Amarillo, I go Amarillo real estate or whatever, like crap blow up. You know, you get deals,
Yeah.
poster deals, whatever the hell, post value.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
cool, dude. Appreciate you jumping on. Wanted to introduce you to some folks. I know you're doing stuff out in Amarillo, so thanks again, dude.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right, keep crushing it.
Yeah, hey, you too, man. Thanks.